So my name is Chris Corriere. I'm a DevOps engineer, auto trader, and I write for DevOps.com. And I know a lot of people are trying to do this right now, and there's some responsibility from the employer and the employee, good and bad way to do everything, which is what I'm talking about today. So the first thing I have for y'all is an ask. Please stop telling me I don't exist. I am a DevOps engineer. When you're trying to break down silos and you got a title like dev or sysadmin, they tell you to go back to your silo. When you're like, I'm a DevOps engineer, we break those down. They're like, oh, we'll talk to you then. So Polybius likes this. He questions my motives though. Is my heart in the right place, or am I self-serving? And as the father of Anaciclosis, he's in a good position to ask this question. He has every right to. So Anaciclosis, monarchy devolves into tyranny, and rule by one is overthrown by aristocracy, which devolves into oligarchy, and rule by a few is overthrown by democracy, which is power to the people. But even they have problems sometimes, and democracy will eventually evolve into mob rule, which is what happened to Guinness. They had this culture of an apprenticeship brewery where you were not allowed to look brewers in the eye. They were held in such high regard, especially if you were a woman. And there are some bad managers that think this is okay, that we're Guinness, we make black beer that is awesome, we have awesome brewers, and they deserve our respect. Some truth there, but we need more talented people, so what do we do? What does a bad manager do in that situation? They go find a multi-dimensional, talented individual that is passionate about many different things and capable of doing a lot. And they take this person and they put them into their organization along with those apprentice people, the brewers, into the bottom of the org chart, where they get like DevOps footstool or assistant, whatever, and they don't get the support and the power they need to make the change that they're trying to make, right? And between that and the expectation of the person who hired them in, this is where we get to the soul crushing part, right? This is not a fun position to be in. Who's ever been stuck in that position at a job before? Anybody? Yeah, we got a few hands up. So, in comes Cecil Guinness and Mr. Christopher Diggs Latouche. I'm not sure which one is Ned Flanders, but one of them is the good boss. And he takes a different approach to this, for sure. He's gonna go about it in a friendly way. He hires a bunch of STEM graduates. So shout out to Adam Jacob and the whole chef-style kung fu thing. I do cookie ops, which I take that model, boil it down to something a 10-year-old can understand, and it fits what happened to Guinness too, in my opinion. So the core tenet of this is ICE columns. Inclusion, complexity, empathy, culture, automation, lean learning, measurement, and sharing. Yes, I hit the L twice. Lean and learning go hand in hand, in my opinion. So what do we do with these nouns? We put them through the three ways, right? Tri-WIA, that means three roads. But ICE goes straight into the first way. You automate measurement and sharing, and you want to create a culture of lean learning, pretty much, is the way I go about this. These are tips on how to be creative, but they work for a DevOps engineer too. I put a star on willingness to look stupid. You've got to be able to do that as well, for sure. And one way you go in is asking questions and trying to do research. So Gossett got up with a guy named Bevan, who was a maltster. He didn't like statisticians, but he wanted to learn about why his malt was awesome. And when Bevan saw that Gossett was using the math to show how brilliant he was, Gossett got on board. But Gossett had to make students t-test to be able to do this. And the beauty of the t-test is you get accurate statistical analysis with a smaller sample, which drops cycle time. So does that sound familiar to anybody? Is that what we're trying to do here? And you end up coming up with really creative solutions to problems. So they were able to figure out refrigeration to preserve hops and test things before they went into brew to make sure they were of quality so the beer came out consistently in the way they wanted. And it took a lot of wood chopping and water carrying, but you need operational expense to do this too. Those guys, the folks who are doing the experimentation, they need a lab, they need raw materials, and they need to be able to burn through it as needed. So don't box them in. And if you're not down for that fight, or you're not getting the cooperation you need, don't take the job or go somewhere else. There's no room for bottom feeding with this. It doesn't make anybody's job any easier. I'm Chris Corriere. That's a link to the blog post this Ignite talk is based off of, and I'll be around today and tomorrow if anybody wants to share. Thanks.